is the longest checkmate you've ever seen in a real game. And no, I'm not talking about those weird endgame studies. I'm talking about real positions from real game. Maybe you've seen a mate in 10, or maybe even a mate in 13. Well, in this game, I got a mate in 17 moves, but this checkmate stole my brilliant move. Stay tuned to see how. So the game started with e4 and then e5. So this was played in a classical tournament. The time was 80 minutes and a 10-second increment, and I had just come off of a draw in round 1 that I had just found out that my opponent would have blundered if we continued on. But I don't know if I would have won. It was complicated. Let me know if you want to see a video on that game or that position. But anyway, I had just come off of a draw, like I just said, and I was feeling very aggressive that day. I was feeling very restless, so I wanted to be as aggressive as possible, and usually I don't play gambits in tournaments, but in this game I played f4. Every other game with e4, e5 had been knight f3 to that point. So I played f4, and I was thinking, alright, I'm gonna get a lot of attacking. This will be really great. But my opponent responds with d5, and instantly my spirits drop, because the main reason why I don't play the King's Gambit is because of this move d5, and it is so hard to play against. And I was feeling so bad for myself. I was thinking, I just sat here for a while, not even thinking about what moves to play, just thinking about how I messed up, how I shouldn't have played this. So anyway, I tried to remember my theory, and the theory here is to just take, and then black will continue with e4. But that didn't happen in the game. Instead, he took my pawn, and now I became not as happy as I was when I first played, but it was a lot better because this is just the modern variation, which is completely fine. So I play knight f3, obviously just a normal move in the King's Gambit, and he plays knight f6. That's just attacking the pawn. But something that I have to be aware of here is that because he opened up his e-file, the queen can come in and give me checks. So I have to play bishop e2 in some lines, which is really annoying. Now the engine recommends c4, just defending the pawn. I didn't really see the point, as I wanted to put my bishop on c4, but like I said, after this check it'll have to come back anyway. So I played d4 here, opening up lines, going to be able to take this pawn in the future. He takes, and now I play bishop c4, just developing. Pretty normal move, and now he has queen e7 check, and I'll have to go back with the bishop, which I realized immediately after I played this move. So he goes back though, which is a huge mistake, because it lets me castle. Now, since I've castled, as we know the King's Gambit, I'm going to get some pressure on this f7 pawn, and now there's no queen check, and opening up this d-file doesn't do anything, because, like I said, he opened it up, so if he tries to go there, I've got some attacking chances. I can pin the bishop if he tries to play bishop e6. So he just plays bishop e7, and the move that, of course, I'm considering here is sacrificing the bishop, but after this check, it leads to nothing. So I play bishop takes f4, regaining the pawn, clearing his material out the way, so I can get this f-file opened. He castles, and now I play knight c3, just developing all of my pieces. I've got the open e-file, the open f-file. All I have to do is position my queen somewhere along somewhere along the king's side, and then I just have really great central control. And this is just a really nice position for me. So he plays a6 here, which is somehow the best move. I'm pretty sure the point of this was to play b5. Yeah, the point in some lines were to play b5. And of course, I didn't see the point of that move. I don't know how he saw the point of that move, and I'm supposed to play a4 to stop b5, which is never happening. So right here, I play queen to d2, developing my queen, getting it off of the rank because I want to preserve the e-file for my rook. So he plays bishop f5, he's developing as well. And now knight to h4 hits the bishop, because I had thought for a while on this move, and it basically has to go back. Now, a tactic that I missed was bishop takes c2, because if I take, he hits this fork, hits my bishop, hits my king, and he's winning by a lot here. So a better move right here may have been to just play king h1 and get out of all of that. He doesn't see that, he moves back, and now I can take, which was my whole plan. And then after he takes, now this pawn is very weak, because his f-pawn is pinned, which is always really nice in these king's gambit positions. And I should continue with rook a1, but instead I double up on the f-file. Rook a1, I mean rook e1. But instead I double up on the f-file, and that allows him to play b5, which is what the engine suggests. But he doesn't play that, and instead attacks my bishop. But the problem is, that gives me enough time to get a major attack on his king with moves like g4, which I didn't play. I instead played rook a to f1, which was a miss. Knight d5 was the best move, defending and attacking, I guess. So he takes. I'm not really sure why. He doesn't really have much pressure. He's opening up my f-file significantly. I take with the rook. I don't take with the queen, because I'm pretty sure the line that I calculated was if queen takes bishop, if queen takes bishop f6, and I don't think I saw a way forward. Pretty sure I'm just winning there. Plus, it would have been really nice to get Alekhine's gun, like all of the pieces on the f-file pointing at this square. Anyway, I take with the rook, setting a small trap of bishop g5, because if bishop g5, I can sacrifice the queen with rook takes f7. If he takes my queen, I'll take this. That's pretty obvious. If he takes my rook, then I'll just take his rook. I'll be up in exchange, and this is just a good position. So he doesn't do that. He plays king to h8. Which doesn't really do much. It doesn't save a lot, and it allows me to play rook takes f7. Now the only thing defending his king are doubled isolated pawns, which I can easily take advantage of with moves like queen e3. He plays bishop f6 here, probably trying to block the f-file. And this is a very critical moment in the game. Right here, I play rook takes f6. Rook 1 takes f6, thinking that this was a brilliant move. I couldn't help myself from smiling in the game. The best line is for him to just take this rook. But after I do that, rook takes f7, and I'm just up a bishop. And his king is unsafe. This is an easy win for me. But when I opened this, oh, by the way, he took the rook and then got mated like this. But when I opened Game Review and I saw that this was only a good move, not a brilliant, the engine told me that right here I had checkmate in 17 moves. Now, if you would like to pause the video, if you'd like to pause the video and try to find it yourself, you're more than welcome to. But it's kind of a weird checkmate. So, the checkmate starts with rook takes f8 check. After this, the queen will take, obviously pretty forced. If you try to go here, then I just take the queen, and it's just mate because I have too many pieces around the king. So the queen has to take. Queen d3 here is the move that is suggested, because it goes here. Don't worry about what the engine says right now. It doesn't see the mate. We're going here. I mean, queen e3 basically does the same thing. But yeah, that's just what we're trying to go. That would be mate. So our opponent here has to play queen to e7 so that it can block the mate. But that is, like, don't worry about what the engine says. It says queen to c8 works, but it's just a quicker mate, because after this, black will sacrifice the rook, and then it's mate. So yeah, there's that. So queen e7 is the best move. Now queen h3, and when he plays bishop h4, you give this check on c8. Now the engine sees the mate, as you can see. Queen g8, king h6, queen h8, queen g5, king g5, and now g3 traps the bishop and threatens checkmate in one move. So you can delay this with checks. The king has to go to g2, and now queen takes d4, because after black because after white takes, there's no checkmate. So now you have to play queen to d8, and after this, bishop to e2. Now the queen will have to block with the check, and now you can take, trade off, and now the nail in the coffin, h4, and there is absolutely no way to prevent queen g5, check, and mate. Would I have played this in the game if I saw it? Probably not. Sacrificing the rook was way too cool. But should that prevent this move from being brilliant? No, absolutely not. This move completely wins, and I was so mad that this was not a brilliant. And I was also very surprised that he took. Can I just say that, by the way? I was very surprised that my opponent, who's 1300, got checkmated like this. But that's not important. The important thing is that who on earth is spotting from this position, oh, I've got checkmate in 17 moves. Anyway, make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you later.
This guy stinks!